Today, I'm here to show you the tips and tricks to an amazing Waakye stew, and you really need to watch this, okay? So to get started is to steam the meat, and we're going to steam the meat with some onions, pepper, garlic, ginger, and we will also have some grains of Selim or Negro pepper, some fennel seeds, some cloves, rosemary, and very important, some fermented locust beans. This is one of the tricks, okay? Now I'm going to add some seasonings as well. You can add any seasoning of your choice, but I'm having beef seasoning or pepper seasoning and all that good stuff. For my beef, I've got just beef and some cow skin, so I'm going to blend all these together, and then I am going to add this back into the pot of meat to steam my meat, okay? So that is our first step. So I'll add everything back in there, add a little bit of water, add my seasoning. You can use any seasoning of your choice, okay? And then allow this to cook. Oh, by the way, this seasoning is like the bomb, okay? It's called Jiawaria. If you know, you know. Mix everything together and then allow this to cook until the meat is nice and tender. And we will also be using some fish as well. If you don't want any fish, you can omit this, that's fine. I'm using some fish seasoning. It doesn't need a lot of seasoning because you're going to add this into the stew and it's going to develop its own flavor within the stew, okay? Now my meat is cooked and it's nice and tender, and of course I have to taste it to check if it's ready, and of course it was ready. So I'm going to remove this out of the stock, and please do keep the stock and do not throw it away. That is like important. We worked so hard for that stock, we need it. You also need to take out the cow skin because you're not going to fry that, okay? Now in the pot that you're going to make your stew in, put some oil. You need a lot of your oil because, you know, the stew needs to fry, okay? You can skim the oil after the stew is cooked. Now that my meat is nicely fried, golden brown like so, I'm just going to take this out of the oil, and then I'm going to coat my fish with a little bit of flour, just a light flour, to allow this not to tear in the oil and make it nice and crispy as well. So when it goes into the stew, it will not break and fall apart, okay? So that's one of the tips as well if you're using fish. So now that the fish is nice and golden brown, we're going to take this out of my oil, and then I'm going to fry some egg. Yes, the eggs are cooked and they're going to be fried. This is like typical Ghanaian thing, okay? Yes, I'm a Ghanaian and we love our eggs, and this is one of the ways that we love to eat our eggs with Waakye stew. Right now, when that is done, you're going to start with the stew. You need a lot of onions. That is one of the tips. A lot of onions will make your stew taste so good. Now I forgot to add some peppers, but please do add some Scotch bonnet and peppers. And then of course you need to add some more fermented locust beans. That is like super important for the Waakye stew to give it that oomph, okay? Now add some rosemary and some fennel seeds, blended everything together, and then I'm going to add this onto my hot oil after I've finished frying my eggs. All right, now you need to fry this for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm also going to add some bay leaves to that, and then let this fry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once that is done, I'm going to be using some tomato paste. I'm using 2 of these cans, and I'm going to add this onto my fried onions and all that good stuff. I will list everything in the description box below, so do check that out for all the ingredients that I am using. Then I'm also going to be adding some crayfish powder, just we're building flavors, okay? Some paprika powder and some cumin powder as well. Like I said, we are building flavors, and the stew is going to be so good. So bear with the process, don't rush it. You need to take it slow, okay? Now I'm also going to use 5 cans of tomatoes and 2 bell peppers. You can use fresh tomatoes if you want, but I don't mind using the canned ones. So I blended that together and added this onto my cooked aromatics, and then I'm going to add the stock that I mentioned before. We add the stock and allow this to cook nicely on low to medium heat. Now when you're doing this, please be careful when you're kind of it's very dangerous, I should say, so please be careful. Put the lid back on and allow this to simmer once again, and then keep checking on it to make sure that it's not burning. And then once it's nearly done, add your meat if you have not finished it yet. Yes, add your meat and add the cow skin, and then allow this to simmer again on low heat until everything kind of marries together and releases all its juices. Now I tasted my stew and I added a little bit more seasoning. Mind you, I've not added any salt because everything that I used, all the seasoning that I used, had salt in them. So now I'm going to stir this again, being super careful, and my stew is done really. Once it's done, you're going to add your fish because that's the last thing that you need to add. You don't want this to break. And then, of course, you add your almighty eggs into the stew. And that is it, okay? It sounds a lot, but trust me, you just need time, okay? So I hope you learned something from this. And if you have any question, of course, put it in the comment and I will answer this for you. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and keep up with all the good stuff that I'm coming to. Of course, my waakye is ready and we are ready to consume our food. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye.